Let's fight. A very good evening to each and every one of you. There it is. Let's fight. Let's fight. Let's fight. Let's fight. Let's fight. Let's fight. Pull it back. Pull it back for you good folks. Those of you who will be coming back to watch us. Pulling it back for you wonderful folks. We trust that you all are good and well. All the things you all did today, we hope they were good to you. You know, we want to do a lot of things, but a lot of things, don't agree with us. A lot of things don't agree with us. How are you doing, folks? Happy to see so many of you on the live already. Great to see all of you wonderful folks. Don't be bashful. Partner with us too. Annette Comments, Verlin Ward. Good to have you there. All right. Somebody saying about song. We getting song at our end. How are things at your end? Did I see somebody say song? We getting song at our end. Let us know if you're hearing us loud and clear. You're seeing us loud and clear. Good evening, folks. You jumped me there. How you say song. You jumped me there. Who with us, folks? Who with us tonight? Good to have all of you here with us this evening, folks. So much happening, folks. 'Tis the season. 'Tis the season. Whatever kind of season you want to call it, however you want to characterize it, folks, tis the season. And we're happy to have you all with us. Better you all be for us than against us. Please and thank you. Happy to see so many of you on the live tonight, good folks. Happy to see so many of you on the live. Brenda Bailey, how are you doing? Good to have you here with us. Great to have you here with us, folks. Who gonna win this battle? Who gonna win this? All right, let's slow down. Let's slow down. Wait for y'all, some of y'all to join us. Y'all know where we are, folks. Y'all know where we are. Tis the season. That's why I see all this wildness out there. Give myself a little space. When we use the other set, just adjust. Naturally, we got to ship down now this old rickety. Now you see chair. Tis the season. That's why you're seeing so much madness. That's why Daily News losing their mind out there. You got to send them up Barbies by the house. Losing their mind. How you all doing, good folks? Trust you guys have had a good day. You all see what's happening on Facebook, on social media, period. It's like a war zone. Some folks are in here within 4 years. They have got an opinion on politics. Yeah, we are entitled to our opinions. You're not going to be a little facetious. We're all entitled to our own opinions. Angela Jordan also. Mingo Bourne, Glycis, how you doing? Kurt Heidecken, Dan Fordyce. Tis the season. Prepare for it. Prepare for it. There's a line in Shakespeare that says, I think it's Julius Caesar. That's not the line, that's the text. Those who have the tears, we must be prepared to shed them, yeah? Tis the season, folks. Madness. General and regional elections 2025. Tis the season. Tis it. What else you want to tell you? You better slow down out there. You better slow down out there. Please and thank you. You better slow down. Folks, welcome in the ring. Wherever you're joining us from, happy that you guys could be here with us. Oh, Lord, you have plenty enough. 4 minutes in, 600 of you. Gloria Chester. Gloria, girl, you won't believe it. I got a piece of that cake still in the fridge. Pinching it. Reminds me of this book I read long time ago. Longest memory, that's the name of it. Fred Diegar. Longest memory. I came to the end. I want it done. I put it down. Every day I read a line and come back. Wayne and Chef's Carlo Kitchen. Oh, it's good food you're cooking, Proper food. Good. Proper food. Ring the bell one time for you. Chef's Carlo Kitchen. Please and thank you. Folks, we hope that you all are good and well. 'Tis the season. 'Tis the season. Another man that got him going basta. Doctor. When last you heard that phrase? You don't even know that phrase? Basta. Well, you say it, you know what the whole thing means. You know the whole thing. Look, these folks here, the PPP, since they find you a little threat, they go with you. They go with you. We heard Dr. Terence Campbell recently with Marvin Williams and Nation Watch, and part of what he was talking about had to do with the Natural Resources Fund. Folks, y'all know that they're digging out everything, right? Y'all don't have no illusions. We got nothing saved for rainy day. God forbid. You all see we had, what was that? High tide warning, tsunami warning, whatever it was, whatever it is. You have natural disasters that could come and wreak havoc on your country. Just like in your home, something could happen. You get a phone call, and that's it. You got to get something put down for a rainy day. You know you got your one good foot. You got to get something put down for a rainy day. Terence Campbell told us the Natural Resource Fund is being pillaged. It is being pillaged. You got a whole committee, investment committee, highfalutin's committee, a whole host of committee, Natural Resource Fund. Nothing to do. Because as quick as the money goes in, the government dig it out. The government dig it out. He said, Dr. Terence Campbell, businessman, he says a rubber stamp. All these various committees and boards and all of that. Rubber stamp. It's a facade. It gives the impression as though there's accountability and good governance and all of that in the oil sector, in the Natural Resource Fund. But far from it. Far from it. And he was articulating some of this over the weekend with Marvin Williams, again, on Nation Watch. You open up. Take a look. Take a listen.
Jagdeo lacks the sophistication to deal with this, to deal with Exxon. And every day, Marvin, I've been a businessman. My professional life started 40 years ago. I've been a businessman for about 37 years. And every single day, contracts are renegotiated. You don't have to have a big shout about it. And sometimes you can look. I personally believe that there is a way to renegotiate the contract that would be revenue neutral even to Exxon.
That was Dr. Terence Campbell, the opposition representative on the Investment Committee of the Natural Resource Fund. He was responding to the comment that while in the opposition, Jagdeo was committed to the renegotiation of the contract that the coalition signed with ExxonMobil. He said that there are ways for Guyana to extract benefits from Exxon. Meanwhile, Guyana has set up a sovereign wealth fund. Dr. Campbell recently described the investment committee as a rubber stamp.
The sovereign wealth fund, usually it's natural resource revenues that are invested to provide for economic stability and the future generations.
There needs to be prudent investment of funds from the sovereign wealth fund.
Our country has known economic difficult economic cycles. So those funds will then help to smooth out some of those cycles. Guyana was unique in the sense that we do have, and I agree with the PPP government, that we do have some needs right now. We need to build up on human capacity and we need to build up on some infrastructure. That does not mean we must spend everything that we get.
In his opinion, the PPP has gone too far. The PPP is now permitted to withdraw as much as 95% of the fund.
And I think it's only a shame that they didn't take 100. What that does is effectively leave the investment committee without any work to do, because the act says that the core fund, so they're not allowed to take out any interest that's generated from the fund. So that core fund that's building up has to be over 500 million before you can even look for higher yielding investment.
Guyana had a mere $3 billion in the fund at the end of last year. The problem Dr. Campbell had was the inability of the government to say what it spent the money on.
It must not just be thrown into the consolidated fund, commingled with everything else to finance, birthday parties and Christmas parties and new Fortunas and so on. I want to know, and the people of Guyana want to know, from the time we realized that we were blessed with this oil find, everyone in the country, every Guyanese, both locally and in the diaspora, has been concerned that those about the use, how we're going to use those funds, how we're going to invest them, and so on.
He said that on this issue, the PPP is terribly resistant on how it's spending the money.
It has led all the way down the road even to the point of false allegations being made against me of threatening people to kill them and so on. All because the PPP government absolutely refuses to account for the use of our oil money.
He said that this is a fight that he never anticipated, but that he will never give up.
I have engaged senior counsel, local and overseas, and I'm hoping that before the end of this week, that a matter challenging the government on the use of the NRF funds will be filed. And amongst the things that we are praying for in our petition is for the government to account for the use of every single cent that they have withdrawn from the fund.
Yeah, I love that. I love that. Because you got talk, but you got action. I love that. You got litigation that's swallowing. You got to give account. And that is what the legislation said before they changed it, that they have to give an account of how the money is being spent, but they don't want to do this. They don't want to do that. They want to dig out. You see? But they want the responsibility that comes with it. If you want to dig out, things might happen when you're digging out everything. Some of the folks on the NRF, just in case you didn't know, the Natural Resource Fund Board, Major General Joe Singh, he got a turn of flesh since I was young. The major at it. Major giving up, Major in everything. How I get space, man? Carolyn Rodriguez, they girl. Ramesh Duku, they boy. Campton Bourne, they boy. Dunson Barrow, he's supposed to be, I think, representing the opposition. They appointed Dunson Barrow and then they said, he can represent the opposition. And then I give you there what the organization looks like. Nominee for the National Assembly, 3 from the religious community, 3 from the private sector, 2 from the organized labor unions, and then a representative of the professions. Then you got this investment committee, you got a public accountability and oversight committee. Yeah, I can't say you're learning tonight. You cannot say you didn't learn anything tonight. See? We did that just for you, so you guys can stay on top. Know what's happening in our country. They're digging way out. They don't want the responsibility, however, that comes with that. That's the trouble we have. They don't want the responsibility, folks. And we got to continue. Ain't nobody going to do it for us. Ain't nobody going to do it for us. So we got to continue to keep them honest. Folks, what happened in every country? What happened in every country? I have never seen in my life, some of the things I see on social media, I have not seen some of these things. God damn it. That we're seeing now. And it's the early days yet. So I am very, very, what is the word? Optimistic. Worried even about what is to come. Because if this is the early days, and people pulling out all this artillery, what's going to come in another month or 2 or 3 or 4 as we come down to the wire? What's going to happen? What's going to happen? Social media over the last week or two been like a war zone. Allegations pelting left, right, and center. I see all kinds of information coming across social media. I saw a man, that looked like everybody in this country. When I saw Melly Mel publish his list, I said, this looked like the voters list. This looked like the what's called it? The list of electors, the OLE, the official list of electors. I started looking for my name now. The man this body. That I was sure my name could be somewhere there. He owe everybody. If you see reams and reams of paper, this thing took to print out. You know? But some of y'all got no professionalism and no gumption. You owe the man. The man got you in court, and you got some rape victim and said, yes, he's the same one that got me in court. Same one I borrowed money from to buy the excavator. Same one I borrowed the money from to buy the concrete mix machine. Same one. This guy right here. We've lost our minds in this country. Quanamingo, we have lost our minds. Yvette, Waveney, Chef. Right? I've never met Mr. Mohamed. Never spoken to him. This is madness, though, as yet. As yet. Right? You think we should interview him? Quanamingo, Candy Lane, Candy's whole scraps, signature Candy, whole scraps. Should we talk to him? We need an exclusive. Get to the bottom of some of these allegations that flying left, right, and center. Wow. We're going to circle back to this, though. We are going to circle back to this and unpack it a little later on in our program. We're going to circle back. All you calm down, yeah? All you calm down. Please and thank you. Calm down. Calm down. This election bringing out all kinds of people. Bringing out all kinds of people. You know, I heard the leader of the opposition say recently, you see this government here? This government here? You see that recount? You see them invalid votes? They get counting and mixing and so on? Don't take my word for it. Leader of the opposition quite recently. Take a listen.
Opposition leader Aubrey Norden says that the vote recount of 2020 should have had a number of steps. However, as things go, only one step was accomplished. That was the first step.
The second step, which was to verify and determine which votes are legal and illegal, they didn't want that. So they fought against it. What Lowenfield was done, as I understand it, is that the report was prepared and that there were those votes that were clearly illegal, had no documentation, and it is those votes that were considered not to be eligible votes.
He said that the PPP, with the support of the international community, managed to halt the other processes.
But the other ones that would have illustrated from the audit which was kind of forensic, that they were involved in skullduggery, never went ahead. And so, in large measure, I agree unapologetically with the pronouncements of Lowenfield at the time, because I took part in the recount. I saw what happened. I could tell you from the recount what happened in Region 1, what happened on the East Coast.
He said that if valid votes were counted, the PPP would have still been in opposition.
I saw clearly the results because I took part in that process. Let us not forget that the chairman then, when the 41 boxes with the world of illegality, the chairman said they would be put aside to be dealt with. And then she returned, I think, the night to say it will be counted.
Had Order 60 that facilitated the recount been followed, the PPP wouldn't have been in power today. He said that the local government elections that followed established that the PPP is prone to illegalities.
The level of corruption in Guyana right now has established that they are prone to illegality. The amount of ministers that are implicated in corruption have established clearly that they know no decency. They have no interest in democracy. Shortly, there's going to be revelations about the CID building and why it was used rather than stay in a government building or in Evilary.
He said that the action against the residents of Mocha reinforces this fact. Private developers have been accommodated after the residents of Mocha were bulldozed.
It's a lot, folks. It's a lot. You know, before we get to some of the things that we're following tonight, you see that election there is a hell of a thing, boy. That election there is a hell of a thing. Look, recommendations that the observer missions made. Somebody tagged the Honorable Nicole Terrio, U.S. Ambassador. Tag the EU Commission. What's it called? It's not called the Commission. Tag them as well. Tag the Indian High Commission, Canadian High Commission. Tag everybody. Tag everybody. You know, the lines for change had a meeting with GCOM recently. You may have heard a tape or two that was leaked. Oh my God, they leave much to be desired. Several countries had missions. The Commonwealth, as an entity and organization, had a mission as well. And folks, a number of things were pointed out. A number of observations were made. I was quite taken aback and taken to the back when I learned that none of these observations have been read by GCOM. None of the recommendations have been implemented. And these are the people who always fraudulently know who commit fraud in the last election. And the people have given us more or less a blueprint to chart a way forward where everybody can feel comfortable with this process. How we must treat with SOPs, how we must treat with the tabulation of results, the role of the deputy returning officers, the accessibility people must have to polling stations. Several reports we have seen and read. How I think we get information to show y'all. How we must produce credible and valid information through electoral reform, clearly written procedures, publicizing the results in a timely manner. And as I said, the list goes on, and engaging with stakeholders, a proper voter registration process. You know, none of this has been done. in the last 5 years. You know that this has been done. Did you know that? Them boys have not implemented, taken on board, rationalized a single word, a single letter from all of these recommendations and observation. None of it. You think easy? You better think again. You better think again, because they're not easy. They're not easy. It's not easy people to deal with. Bantu King, Rohan Basantram says wicked and vindictive. Endorsed. Andrew Griffith, please and thank you. Calvin Peters, Maria Leacock. My God. How many things we're following, folks? Now alone, I take the whole program, you know. Whole program. The government said they're getting set to terminate the opportunity they've given to entities like CGX. Yep. That's what they say. Revoke. My Lord. Never dull moment in this country. You remember when gunboats from a certain country repelled, evicted the folks from CGX? Oh, those were the early days. Those were the early days. Those were the early days. But like they knew nothing with the time they had now. Because the government has announced that it has issued a letter stating its intent to terminate the license and the petroleum agreement of the for the quarantine block. And they've issued it, as you see there, for CGX Energy and Frontiera Energy Corporation. Yep. The letter also serves a 30-day notice of the government's plan to cancel any existing license held by the joint venture. And according to what we know, that this signals a firm stance by Guyana on enforcing petroleum agreements. And they said it also may impact the ongoing energy investments in that region. Yeah. So that's the first thing. The first thing. We got a lot to deal with. The incoming government has got a lot on their hands to clean up, to fix. And that's one of the challenges of 2015, you know. Spent so much time cleaning up the mess of this administration. You were left lagging a number of things that should have been on the front burner. I told you all. Is it surprising that on our western borders we got trouble? And then Suriname now acting up. Is it surprising? Is it coincidental? Folks, we learned very early in politics, there are no coincidences. In the rest of life, perhaps. In politics, there are no coincidences. Maduro, taking up. And now, after we wined and dined, Chandrika Prasad, Santoki, we give you rum cake, we give you pepper pot, we give you cassava bread. Look where we are. What are we to show for it? So we weren't wrong when we told Todd in the National Assembly, when you find a Paku, you bust down your back. Because they're telling us now that Guyana and Suriname are to discuss a border commission meeting. Where are we going with this? Where are we going with this? You see when you got a weakling like Todd, a soft backbone like Todd, that's a vertebrate or invertebrate. Can't seem to remember. People can take that and pass me. Todd spoke in the National Assembly just before I spoke. And when I heard some of the things Todd said, I wasn't inspired at all. As a foreign affairs minister, we don't have to agree, see eye to eye. But you can't even move us to a little inkling of patriotism. You haven't said anything about a coherent foreign policy. You just come and you dilly-dally and shilly-shally and leave us exposed. Leave us exposed. So the people know, feel this spot in me back. They feel this spot in our backs and they say, we got punks now. All right. Thank you, Todd. Thank you, Todd. So that's what's happening there. We did tell you about this flu, nasty flu that's going around. Y'all be careful. Y'all be careful. Ministry of Health says it's about to launch. It's everything this government is first ever. Influenza vaccination program. You know it's serious. Y'all be careful there. They said they're going to start with the healthcare workers and the elderly. And this is according to the Minister of Health, Dr. Frank Anthony, who's been AWOL for a little while. He didn't know they didn't have Panadols and Panadol tablets at Tamari Health Center. The roof, the leaking, the tree growing through the building. He didn't know all of that. He's been a little AWOL, physically and mentally. They said the ministry is also going to be enhancing its disease surveillance, including monitoring viruses in animals to improve early detection and pandemic readiness. You know, God rest her soul. Dr. Etienne, who was the Secretary General, was it? The head for PAHO at one time. Dr. Carissa Etienne of blessed memory said from day one, beautiful soul, said from day one, start preparing for the next epidemic. That lady took us through COVID and brought us through. I think she lived out in Maryland. I think it was late last year, if not the year before. They found her unresponsive in her home. It's Kelly woman, you know. You got to deal with some jagabats and trench crappos like this. It's Kelly lady, you know. It's Kelly woman. You got to study them whole day. The foolishness they're doing top to bottom. You got something as simple as Panadol. How is health minister? In the fastest growing economy in the world, you got Panadol. I hope they didn't victimize Dr. Carter. When last y'all hear from Dr. Carter? When last y'all see Dr. Carter? I hope they didn't victimize Dr. Carter. That lady spoke very sincerely. She wasn't trying to be political. She wasn't trying to embarrass the president. You hold a community outreach and you say, bring the problems. The lady carry the problems. What you want? What is it? When last y'all see Dr. Carter? Soon as you come in this country. God damn it. Maxine, Ian, Donna, Godfrey. If you come with pressure, they give you pressure here. It's Kelly woman, you know. They found her unresponsive in her home, Dr. Chris Etienne. And I found her very closely and loved the work she did. Sandra said, Frank, in your own world. And I know Sandra's very clean. She's pick up things, Sandra. I know right in the comments. She said, Frank, in your own world. Auntie Sandra, deeply spiritual woman. She meets you now, she tell you if you're pregnant, where you had for lunch, it was borer, how the borer fry, who killed the fish, who was the fisherman, which boat is coming in. She's very clear, pick up things like that. Auntie Sandra said, Frank, in your own world, you must know. Marcia guy said, pimp him in your world. Frank the sailor. Talking about sailor. Once you come in 592. Once you come in 592 problems. They found the boat, the fishermen missing. You know? The fishermen missing. The boat is there. fishermen. Nowhere to be seen. You remember the boat that didn't have an engine? But it had people that was spotted and then lost. You remember that? When the bishop went looking for it, the bishop climbed in a boat himself. And he gone looking. He's with it there, looking. Boat moving at 0 nautical miles. Drifting. At about 7:13. Dead folks in it. Them boys can't find it. They can't find it. So this boat was found capsized in the Atlantic Ocean on Tuesday, 2 miles off the mouth of the Berbice River. And its crew has been reported missing. So this discovery was first reported through an anonymous call to the Edward Fishing Co-op, the chairman of the Three Doors Sluice Co-op, Norris Jairam. He has confirmed that 2 boat crews were dispatched to investigate. However, due to limited resources, they were unable to recover the vessel. And as of the latest update, the investigating teams, they are at sea still, and further efforts are expected to locate the missing crew. And we talk about it all the time. Hope you all didn't forget. Claim for lie. We talk about the carnage on our roads and our waterways. This is a freaky country. This is a freaky country. You got about 13 over here. 7 there by the American Embassy, waiting for the interview. House burning down every day. Accidents on the roadway every day. On the waterways every day. Violence to women and girls, like what happened in the interview last evening. We come back to that. Every day. What's happening in this country? Is you or we? Oh, foolish Galatians, who have bewitched us? Who has bewitched us? I make sure my subject and my verb got coherence. Who has bewitched us? Looking for the men. Thoughts and prayers with them. Our thoughts and our prayers are with them. Please and thank you. Thoughts and prayers with them. And the family. Hope they're found safe and sound. Our thoughts and prayers with them. What is it? Every day. Thing for depress you. Soon as them boys come in, one thing to the next. I'm just talking about carnage and the roads and waterways. I left out one. Well, I can remind you all now. Thanks for asking. You ever wake up good? You ever wake up good? That's how Kyle Solomon woke up. Good. Years ago, I read John Steinbeck's The Pearl. Taught it a little bit too when I was a little teacher back in the days. John says it was a day unlike any other day. It's a line in the book. And yet, perfect among days. It's amazing how these things come back to you. It was a day unlike any other day in the life of Kyle Solomon, a city councillor, yet perfect among days. Kyle was fighting off 2 young men at his business place. And one of them dealt him some stabs. My God. And city councillor Kyle Solomon lost his life. We wide open here, We expose to our enemies, our territorial enemies. We expose internally. We expose. Every city councillor in your country and say, who's safe? That's why I want to know, who's safe? Every city councillor, he didn't say, who's safe? The alleged perpetrator, a 16-year-old, He has been remanded to prison for the fatal stabbing of Kyle Anthony Solomon. They said he appeared before Magistrate Anand Singh quite recently, where the indictable charge was read to him, and he was not required to enter a plea. And this occurred, the murder occurred on the 5th of February, a couple of days ago. Solomon was near his home in Durban Backlands. He confronted the suspects, the report says, attempting to break into his shop. And during the chase, the teen allegedly stabbed Solomon multiple times before fleeing. Our thoughts and prayers with the councilor's family and the city council and councillors across the divide. Our thoughts and prayers are with them. You know, when I was a city council, I remember we lost Junior Garnett. You know, let him at a meeting, went and did some errands, and councillor gone. It's the wrong set of people is going, you know. The wrong set of people. Further I say not. Further I say not. Because the people who listening to take notes to report slander and liable, and they got a whole set of people. The writers waiting, you know. You only have a slip up. Right. They let the writers come out. Oh, hear what he said about this, but this. We ain't talk about abusing this young lady with the interview last year. They ain't gonna talk about that. 16 years old. Folks at 16 years old, your mother milk still in your face. Still in your face. Flush like that. You got more to charge. At 16. By the time you get to my age, 35, 38. Sometimes I just forget a little bit. It's 38, right? That was a year or two. What is a year or two among friends? When you get to my age, oh boy. If you think that was some problems, if the balance don't get you, this election promises to take you under. But we ain't going down just, you know. We ain't going down just, no. We're sending some of them before us. We're sending some of them before us. You see, this election is problems, you know. This election will be trouble. And this is trouble with a capital chub. Trouble. Trouble. Please and thank you. Trouble. I heard Nigel Hughes said recently, allegations left, right, and center, you know. Legend now he got some land through some nefarious way. Allegations. And when Nigel now lay out the thing, they stop talk. They stop talk. Here's what he said recently.
Leader of the Alliance for Change, attorney at law Nigel Hughes, has been accused of being part of a company that has been awarded state lands at Ogle. Hughes told the press conference that he's in no way involved in any land ownership at Ogle.
I am not a shareholder of any company that has been awarded lands in Ogle, in Earl's Court, or anywhere else. The negotiations that take place between foreign investors and the government in relation to lands that are leased in that area in Ogle are negotiations that are not conducted in my presence. They are conducted between the shareholders and the investors and the government of Guyana.
He said that he is more than willing to undergo any investigation.
Since these are national lands that are being given out on the licenses of occupancies and other legal documents, let the country of Guyana know who has been awarded their lands, what rates they have been awarded, what have been the conditions under which those lands have been awarded, so that all of us who are citizens of this country and are entitled to know.
He reiterated his call for an investigation.
And in the spirit of transparency, I say to the Vice President, join me in setting up this investigation, making sure it deals with Nigel Hughes. That seems to be your concern at the moment, and I'm happy that I occupy so much space in your mind. Let it involve Heroes Highway, let it involve Ogle. And while you at it, Vice President, you remember people like me, I couldn't apply for a house lot because only persons who didn't have land could apply for a house lot, and therefore I couldn't get a house lot. But you, sir, you got a house lot in Prattville 1. And while you had a house lot in Prattville 1, you got...
All right, sorry about that.
Leader of the Alliance for Change, attorney at law Nigel Hughes, has been accused of being part of a company that has been awarded state lands at Ogle. Hughes told the press conference that he's in no way involved in any land ownership at Ogle.
I am not a shareholder of any company that has been awarded lands in Ogle, in Earl's Court, or anywhere else. The negotiations that take place between foreign investors and the government in relation to lands that are leased in that area in Ogle are negotiations that are not conducted in my presence. They are conducted between the shareholders and the investors and the government of Guyana.
He said that he is more than willing to undergo any investigation.
Since these are national lands that are being given out under licenses of occupancies and other legal documents, let the country of Guyana know who has been awarded their lands, what rates they have been awarded, what have been the conditions under which those lands have been awarded, so that all of us who are citizens of this country and are entitled to know.
He reiterated his call for an investigation.
And in the spirit of transparency, I say to the Vice President, join me in setting up this investigation, making sure it deals with Nigel Hughes. That seems to be your concern at the moment, and I'm happy that I occupy so much space in your mind. Let it involve Heroes Highway, let it involve Ogle. And while you at it, Vice President, you remember people like me, I couldn't apply for a house lot because only persons who didn't have land could apply for a house lot, and therefore I couldn't get a house lot. But you, sir, you got a house lot in Prattville 1. And while you had a house lot in Prattville 1, you got another house lot in Prattville 2.
He said that unlike others who had to go into developed communities, Vice President Barra Jagdeo had the community specially designed for him.
So you can sit down on the waterfront, beachfront property for your second state-assigned property. So I welcome that investigation.
Mr. Hughes spoke of the plan to establish a judicial compound along Heroes Highway. This was supposed to house all the courts.
I understand up to now. Well, maybe you wish to tell us what happened to that. What has happened to that plan? And as it's along the Heroes Highway, I am sure it will come out, and I welcome the investigation, sir. So I would like to say to the Vice President, who's spending this afternoon with me, that let us hold hands and let's lead this country towards full transparency and have all the investigations that we would like.
That's what I want to see. Jagdo and Nigel holding hands, leading us to transparency. Wouldn't that be a day? Wouldn't that be a day? Holding hands, going down to transparency. Yep. Election 2025 is upon us, folks. 2025. The Guyana Elections Commission, GCOM, says that they're in the process. They are in the process of preparations, of readiness, of preparedness. Please and thank you. And they've been advertising for polling their staff. So if you know qualified people, please and thank you. Give them the heads up. Give them the heads up. We don't want political people. Y'all know the last go round, we found a lot of PvP plants in there. And then photographs start surfacing on Facebook who got done party paraphernalia. You know, Facebook is a hell of a thing. We got some Facebook researchers could dig back real far. Dig down real far. Drill down. 10 years ago, you went to a rally. PPP. It's 150% PPP. Then you want was a polling day staff say, you gotta come to the party, scrutineer. Can't come work with Chico. No. I want them same people coming back who, when they were called to explain how you had all of those ballots in boxes without statutory documentation, did not come to the meeting. I want those people going back. I want those people going to sign up back. You see where we got to be sharp. We got to be sharp out there, folks. That's one of the things happening. GCOM. Then what's happening now in schools? Kanu said they found something called strawberry quick. You know? That's a real green down, so I barely know what's a cigarette. What's strawberry quick? Strawberry is a good thing as far as I know, but if Kanu making a fuss out of it, can be good. Strawberry quick. He said they found this at clubs and social gatherings as well. Strawberry quick. It's a dangerous methamphetamine, and it's a variant that is disguised as a candy. My God, nothing is sacred anymore. Nothing. So though no cases have been confirmed in schools, Kanu has found small quantities in clubs and social gatherings. Yeah. That's what he said. Clubs and social gatherings. Where's it coming from? Who letting the cocaine pass? Who doing it? So one of the things we're following, folks, we got to get to the finish line, and then look at this. Teacher in trouble. Right? Darius Courtman. So Darius. That's it. Delirious Courtman, 25 years young. He's been remanded to prison after being charged with sexually assaulting a female student. Tis the season. It's madness. He appeared before Magistrate Tariq Mohamed, the Bartica Magistrate Court, facing a charge of sexual activity with a child by abusing a position of trust. He was not required to enter a plea and will remain in custody until his next appearance, March 7th. Yep, not doing what he was supposed to be doing. There we have it, folks. And as beyond that. That's a good segue to the other story. We weaponizing rape now. I couldn't watch all of the interview. I tell you all, there's only so much of boredness I could take in any given day. And then after that damn Lal saga, like I ain't got the capacity now for these nail biters, edge of your seat things. But in all of these allegations we saw recently, allegations of rape directed against businessman and philanthropist Azzruddin Mohamed. One thing has been constant. People have been saying that these folks, her handlers, should take her to the police. You could bring her from wherever she emerged from for an interview. And it was weird because I've never seen a connection between Daily News and Critics, but Critics was on Daily News doing an interview. I know if you're catching a walk there for, a lot of bills to pay. Take her to the police. And I think that is what the sexual offenses legislation says. As soon as you have knowledge that an act has been committed, a child has been violated, you have almost you compelled to report the matter. So when I see the dilly-dallying and shilly-shallying What is it? What is it? If this young lady has so been interfered with and affected, the police got a role to play. No boredness. No Guyana Daily News and parading her. Come on, folks. Come on. And that is part of what I've heard. The sister to Azzruddin Mohamed say, look how they're weaponizing rape. And this is how you know things are getting so desperate. Because accusation after accusation have been leveled against the businessman by Guyana Daily News. And this is only the latest of the set. And I wish the Daily News would step back a little bit and their principles and say, could it be this thing looking a little how? You all have gone beyond just reporting the news now. And I can tell in this sphere, you all probably didn't study the thing. Because they tell you when you study journalism, like I did, like we did, report the news, don't become the news. Report it, don't become it. And this media house look as though it has an axe to grind. That's how it comes across in this barrage of allegations that we see coming from the Daily News. So this was the scene last evening. My God. And I told you this morning what a gentleman by the name of Telford Lane said that I agree with. He's the professional. He is a professional, and so I fully agree with his assessment of how the thing went. He said what they did to this young lady is worse than what any predator could have done. It is clear as day what is happening here, Bordness. GDN, it is clear as day what is taking place here. And what the sister said, this gone beyond politics now. It's gone beyond. So the young lady came forward, right? It's interesting. The man who was doing the interview, this is how they're so poor where professionalism is concerned. The man who the allegation is being made against got him in court for millions of dollars. Got him in court for millions of dollars. But doesn't matter. Right? That doesn't matter. Right? How can he be an objective interviewer in such a context? How? How can he be an objective interviewer? When the man that's the subject of the discussion is a man that got him in court for millions of dollars owed. How? How? Father, have his mercies. Father, have his mercies. The businessman has since said that he denies this baseless and absurd claim. This was a post on his social media page. He denies it. Baseless and absurd claim, he says, which seeks to damage his reputation or the reputation of the Mohammeds. Right? And remember that what I told you the legislation says. He says, I'm fully committed to defending our good name, and I will cooperate completely. You're not worried with me. I will cooperate completely with the relevant authorities to ensure a thorough investigation into this matter. He says, in light of this damning and serious allegation, I urge the alleged victim to lodge an official complaint with the police so that a thorough investigation could commence. Report it to the police. Report it. The onus is now on boardness, right? And let me just say, Guyana Daily, because news is different now. Guyana Daily, report the matter. But I want to show you how them boys come in. Because Jonah always says it. They can say you're thief, you rape, you murder. All right. That's the playbook. That is the playbook. I saw the sister of Azzruddin Mohamed take to social media as well. And she wasn't holding back. She had a mouthful to say. She had a mouthful to say about this situation here. I think her name is it Hadi or Hadia Mohammed? And some of what she said is so instructive. You know, get into the heart of the matter. You gotta give it to women. They just cut through all this stuff and land it right by your foot. We never conform any presidential decision. This is what it's about, you know. Guyanese done text setup. We have never confirmed any presidential decision, nor have we felt the need to engage these desperate, humiliating attempts to smear our name. But when you drag an innocent man through the mud with false rape allegations, when you mock real victims, Hadia says, when you reduce the suffering of women to a political stunt, you have forced my hand. Enough is enough. And then she walk in the chest. Walk in the chest like Bola. One of the old people who watched the martial arts movie gonna know the one. You don't remember Bola? She walk in the chest up. What? Walk in the chest. If that young lady has been so affected, right, our thoughts and our prayers with her. Folks who got her, you're handling her, take her to the police. We've seen this movie before. We have seen this movie before. We've seen it before, folks. Ain't we seen it before? We know the playbook of the PPP so well. We know it. We know it. And on this note, folks, we bid you farewell until our next broadcast. That's our time, good folks. And that's our program. Eva says yes. I know Bola. I'm happy you do. I'm happy you do. I ain't got to begin to question my sanity. Get ready, Susan says yes. I know Bola. I know Bola. Only those at depth, you know, at film history, martial arts film history. She walk in the chest, pop, 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 pop. Let them staggering back, sir. The young lady has been affected. Get her help. There's nothing to play with. Nothing to play with. Mr. Mohammed says he's ready. Investigate. Investigate thoroughly. Please and thank you. Folks, the political season is heating up. Claire and Juan and Gloria, Laverne, Glenford, MP Ganesh Mahi Paul. Ganesh says he knows Bola's son. Folks, you all take the mic. I don't want the program to degenerate. That's our time, folks, and that's our program. Thanks for joining us this evening. Please and thank you. Thanks for joining us. I know you can be in lots of other places, but you stayed with us. That's our time. And that's the last bell. We'll see you guys in the next one.